Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing well. Today I have a whole bunch of things I want to share with all of you, so I'm not really entirely sure where to start, but I suppose we'll go around and take a look at some of the changes here in the garage. So, let's start, I suppose. I'd say the biggest change since we last spoke would be the workbench here. Obviously, the folding table is gone, and a nice, sturdy workbench is now in its place. So this was designed and made by my dad. Of course, me and my friend helped to put it together as well and cut the lumber and everything. But this was all his design. As you can see, it is securely anchored to the concrete wall, and we got some nice legs here as well. All of this is actually made out of the 2x4s that came from the walls that used to be here, that divided up the building, and or the garage, I should say. And we reused all of that lumber to make this workbench. And in fact, there's still some in the corner over here. So that worked out great. All we had to do was get some screws, and here it is. So a huge thanks to my dad for designing this, coming out here and putting it all together. It is also a perfect height. The biggest problem with the table, other than it wasn't sturdy, was that it was just too low to work on anything at a comfortable height. So this is, I don't really know how high we went with it, but it is a perfect height to stand at. I've already done some projects here, and it has worked out really well. My back doesn't hurt when I'm working on things, because usually I end up bending over some to reach down to the normal height of a table. But here, it's a perfect height. And as I may have already mentioned, it is incredibly sturdy with its construction of all 2x4s and the way it's mounted together. It was a lot nicer until I spilled this liquid all over the table yesterday. I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, and well, I procrastinated too long, and here we are. I've already given it some some use and some discoloration. But you know what? That's what a workbench is for. Anyway, what is all this even from? Well, I had here it is, a vise. It was taken apart, and we put it into this bucket from the Dollar Tree, which I think was the biggest issue because it's a really thin bucket, and it's a piece of garbage because it got a hole in it. And all the liquid leaked out, and it's still doing a little bit of it there. And it's all over the place. Why is the vise apart in a bucket? Well, my dad researched and found out that you can put rusty parts in vinegar, and it will get rid of the rust, and sure enough it did. This thing was incredibly clean yesterday. When I pulled it out of there, it's of course rusty now because it has a thin layer of surface rust on it from it sitting here. But I'm going to put it in a different bucket and give it another chance with some vinegar for a short period of time. And then he said put some oil on it and put it back together so it doesn't rust. And we'll have a nice vise. But obviously it looks terrible right now, but that's just because it sat here and it got a light layer of surface rust on it. And mostly because I decided to play with it and I should have left it alone. I was going to move the parts around so they would be submerged differently. Dropped one of them, put a hole in the bucket, wherever it is, and it started gushing out everywhere right here. I had a tub. You can see this tub still has liquid and stuff on it and stained everything. And the funny part is we got this on the ground. It kind of cleaned it a little bit, but yeah, it's all the way down the sides here. Down on here, it's on the little piece of metal and board there, some just scrap stuff, so it's no big deal if that stuff has stuff on it. But I had a bin here, and super smart self didn't have a cover on it. So I had a whole bunch of bulbs in there that all got soaking wet. This thing, and look at this PL adapter. Oh my goodness, I tried to wipe it off as soon as I could. And some bulbs for videos that I haven't done yet. Look at that stain, the sticker. This wasn't a box, but the box got destroyed, so I threw that away. So yeah, that's the story of why this tabletop is no longer perfect looking. It is now stained a little bit, and this used to be a bit worse here, but we have this palm sander, and I decided after it all dried up last night to give it a sand and see what it would do. Well, some areas here, it went away, and a lot of it here it lightened up because I wanted to try to bring it back to the nice way it looked before. But you know, you live and learn. But you know, like I was thinking, it's not like it isn't usable. It just doesn't look perfect anymore. But you know what? It's not supposed to look perfect. I need to get that into my head. It is a workbench. It is a place to do things, and it doesn't matter if it gets some stain or whatever on it. It is still incredibly sturdy. It is not going anywhere, and this didn't ruin anything. So, enough of that. Enough of me whining about getting this vinegary, rusty water on everything. And, well, what's the next step? So anyway, let's see. I need to clean up some of these bulbs, put them away. I need to put this in a new bucket and redo the vinegar thing again just to get rid of that light surface rust. And half of it still needs to be a little bit more done before it can be put back together, so that won't take too long. It's a very interesting process, and it works very well using vinegar on the rusty parts for this. Just don't use these buckets. I think I'll use one of these decent buckets up here that's way more sturdier than a bucket from the dollar store. So, enough of that. You probably noticed there are some new things here. So, my dad got me these air hose things because over here we have another thing that is new. An air compressor, which is wonderful. We made this little shelf here above the lawnmower. Can't think of words today. And this works out great. You can put the air compressor here. It's got its hose, got a little switch there for not the air compressor, but the wonderful heat fan. And that works out good. I have, you know, a tire filler thing here, but this will be great for cleaning things and whatnot. Let's see. Okay, so here's some things that are right in front of the camera. Yesterday, got this at the Restore. It is for a 12-watt bulb. I believe this was made by Lights of America. I have a brand new one of these in box somewhere. This one looks pretty new too. It just doesn't have the bulb. And I have a bulb for it. I think I put it somewhere. I'll have to find it. And I'll put it somewhere. Found one of these at the Restore as well. I thought I'd pick it up. Maybe someday I'll find a fixture and I'll need this kind of adapter for it, because these kind of sockets are ridiculous. Why don't we just always use the standard? I'd never understood that. And I found these at the Restore as well. So, obviously back in the day they had just single outlets in the wall with a nice brass plate. And I'm going to assume that these are new old stock. But they're in wonderful condition. It does say UL on it. I don't know when UL was a thing, but... or like when it came to be that they were stamping it on there like that. This one I think is a little bit older, but maybe it's not. I got these for $1 a piece. Very cool. I love finding these old electrical things, but it's not too common to find them. And then here is one of these safety socket things. If you twirl it, you can get to the plug. You let go, it goes back. My grandparents had one of these, except it was brown, in their little kitchen eating nook at their wonderful old house. Yeah, so this is pretty cool to find and have, because I remember playing with that when I was younger. Obviously, it's not for kids to play with, but I found it exciting and fun. I also stopped at Lowe's because I'm always on the lookout for these GE filament LED nightlight bulbs. Ever since that, I've gotten the Light-O-Lear under cabinet track lighting system, which I still need to share. I don't know why I haven't. These work perfect in it. They don't have any flicker. They're a perfect amount of lumens for the under cabinet light. They are literally perfect for the situation. And being a filament LED, it puts a light right on the side, right where I need it. These things are great. I can't say enough good things about their design. I've been really impressed with them. So I picked up a couple of them that they still had in stock, because one of the times that I went to one of the stores, they told me that these were going to be discontinued in favor of a cheaper looking version. So if I ever find them in stock, I tend to pick up a couple just to have on hand. I also picked up this flicker flame bulb here, LED. I've seen these in Lowe's for a long time, but I've never picked one up. They're not cheap. This thing was like $8, $9. But I thought for a video and to share with all of you, I definitely want to do that. It has like a stick in there with all the LEDs on it. I chose a candelabra-based one because you could put a nightlight. So that would be cool, you know, or some type of candelabra-based fixture instead of one that's medium base. And then I saw this as well. A good friend also picked up one of these, and I thought, hey, I'll pick up one too and also take a look at it. So that's pretty cool. Let's see, I think there was something else as well. Indeed, there was. I also picked up this Lithonia Lighting LED area light. Now, why in the world would I pick up an LED area light? I agree. I absolutely do not like these things. But the only reason I picked it up is it was on clearance for $24. It said it used to be $100 for this thing. I would never pay $100 for one of these. But I thought, $24, I'll pick it up. It's worth a video for all of you, and it actually has a photocell socket. That's a huge thing going for it, some type of replaceable part. You know, a lot of these, they got the photocell built into the housing, and you can't replace anything on them. Of course, you can't replace the LED chips on these, but you can at least replace the photocell. And it's by a decent brand. It's not like a brand you've never heard of before, or an in-house brand or anything, so I thought it's on clearance for a really good price. Let's make a video for all of you. So that'll be pretty cool to take apart and see what's inside. So of course we have the wonderful Workbench, but what's lighting it up? Well, of course we've seen some of these things up here. We've seen the Home Art 4-lamp F20 T12 fixture. I have since added a pole chain to it, but not to the fixture itself. To this outlet here. I don't know if I've shared this. I don't think I have yet. But I had some of these extra boxes lying around, and cords and outlets and pole chains and whatnot. And I decided to drill a hole in the one end and put a pull string in it. And you can plug in whatever kind of fixture you want. And it gives it a pull chain without needing to drill a hole in the fixture. And I could plug another fixture into it too if I really wanted to. So that's cool. And it has a friend next to it here. What in the world is this? Yes, this is, what was it? I think a Lustra 55-watt low-pressure sodium indoor security light. This is something that they'd have inside like drugstores or, you know, stores in general. And it was used back in the day with black and white CCTV cameras. And it didn't matter if it had color rendering because the picture was black and white. So low pressure sodium was the best, cheapest option to use for that. And I do have a video of this fixture on my channel. It still has the 55-watt low pressure sodium bulb inside. I had my parents bring this out when they came out. And they also brought along some 35-watt low pressure sodium bulbs that I can put in here as well, because the ballast does do both wattages. It's not plugged into anything at the moment. You can see the cord just lying up there. But it's something I definitely wanted to have a low pressure sodium light out here to play with and enjoy. And I think this is the most unique and compact one that they could bring out here that was a wattage that could support 35 watts. Of course I have like wall packs and things, but this is pretty cool. This thing's always been here. I think I've shown this in the corner. I don't remember. It's got I put this brand new Philips Black Ender bulb in here. Preheat naturally. Nice little light for the corner. And I also added one of these wonderful old floodlights here. I have a set of 2 of these. I'll show you the other one here in a second. But inside, I have a wonderful 9-watt PL preheat adapter flood bulb in there. Got to have all the preheat action possible. So that's cool. Lights up this area over here. Just some accent lighting. Of course, that's all plugged in here. And here's the other one. And that has the same bulb in it. 9-watt preheat floodlight PL adapter. That's just so cool. I love finding these types of installations in old places and stuff. And it lights up the wall here real nice too. Over here, we have an old video or photo fixture. I just have a 13-watt PL adapter in there for right now. And it lights up over here real good. So that's pretty cool. I like the accent lighting. And this fixture I added a pull chain to, so it doesn't have to be on all the time. Boy, it is crammed in the end of these things. It was so hard to find a spot to put the pull chain, but I did here on this end. So now that doesn't have to be on all of the time. There's a look at all the lights over there. And this one isn't on all the time either anymore. It is also on one of these little pull chains that I made. Very cool. So that way I don't have to ruin this fantastic old fixture by adding a switch to it. And let's see, I also added a switch to this fixture. So it isn't on all the time either. That works out well. I do leave this little one on. I like the look of it. Oh, I also have things up here too. The posters on the other side of the wall are all my friends' posters. That's for his workout area. And over here are some old t-shirts that I cut up and decided to tack to the roof up there, because why not have something a little more interesting to look at? Of course, a wonderful heat fan. I love this thing. So yeah, that's where everything is at the moment. It's all coming together real nice. Still don't have much of anything too interesting over here. We got the 2 fans and the LED shop lights. If you ever find anything cooler, they'll go in their place, but I haven't yet. Nice. So anyway, that is the updates on the garage. Pretty cool stuff. I can't wait to do some projects here with all of you.